Welcome, everyone, to this very special interview with author of Civilization Hijacked, Albert or Al Morris, a self-described, retired, successful businessman, author, and philosopher. He's on a mission to awaken humanity. Welcome, Al. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, I'm a secular Christian. I was born into a very religious Jewish family that came from a little village in Mesopotamia, Al Azir, the village just where Babylon historically was, and they had my grandfather on the mother's side was the last caretaker of Ezra's tomb. Ezra was the scribe and judge of biblical fame, and they looked after the tomb generation after generation, and that's the origin of the family in the first place. But my father, he was about a young teenager, I suppose, just at the end of the last war, and he came in contact with Australian and British troops, learned English pretty quickly, and he was employed from time to time as an interpreter for the British troops. Now, that was very interesting because after the war, both my mother and father travelled to Shanghai, father trading in otter furs. The otters were highly prized for their fur, and they were caught in the marshes between the Euphrates and the Tigris River by the local Arabs. And in 1925, there was a problem politically in China. So Dad had the opportunity to migrate to either America or Australia. Now, he chose Australia, and the reason being that in coming contact with Australian troops in Azir, he often heard the phrase, "fair go, mate." So that's what decided he'd go to the land that gave us a fair go.
Fair go, isn't that wonderful? I hope we're always the land of giving people a fair go.
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you. Al, I was having a little bit of a read through some of the reviews of your book, Civilization Hijacked. And one of the reviewers has described it as the rampant greed for power and wealth from religious groups to governments, multinational corporations, and banks that ran throughout the book was eye-opening. The articulation of the alternate role of Jesus as a man simply protesting the behaviour of his church at the time for which he was killed is highly compelling. Now, it's a frightening proposition put forth by the book, yet at the same time, with all the evidence presented, it is the only conclusion that makes sense that human self-interest is driving moral behaviour at the cost of well-being of fellow human beings has ran throughout the book. Now, I must say, I had no idea how banks create money from nothing at all. The whole idea of fractional reserve banking is absolutely ludicrous and terrifying. I just would like you just to share with our viewers what inspired you to write Civilization Hijacked.
Well, it happened by accident, actually. I came home from work one day, and on the table was a daily newspaper. I think it was the Daily Mirror, about 1967 it was. And the editorial headline in bold type was, "Let's get rid of these foul little hoodlums." Now, in 1967, the young generation at that time were involved in violent crimes and gang misbehaviour socially, and apparently the editor had an idea that we should get rid of them without even giving us any idea of how or where we should get rid of them to. So I that prompted me to write to him and ask him where would he suggest we get rid of them to? Fly them off to the moon or what? I was so incensed at the stupidity of that. I said to him, in the letter actually, we made them and we have them, and if we want better, we'd better produce better. Education is the key. That was the idea behind the letter, to try and get him to implement some sort of educational system that would produce a better younger generation. So after a few days not having received any reply, I started, in desperation, I started door knocking. And I was gobsmacked by the degree of apathy shown by the general public. It was startling. That's actually what drove me to write a book. I had to get the message out.
Excellent, thank you. And thank you for sharing with us your story and your inspiration for writing Civilization Hijacked. Thank you, Al.
Now, how was that, you think?
That was very good. I think that was the best you did.
Yeah, I think so too.
It flowed so well.
Now,
And that's all I'm thinking. We don't need to do them all.
conversationally. You know.
It was very, very, very